Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with another installment of Building the Team. Ooh, excuse me. So, the last time we got together, it was our July 4th game, and ended up running the Avengers team. It was just play a battle royale. It didn't do too well. It didn't do too poorly, but I did manage to, I took a few opposing figures with me, so at least there's that. Anyway, so for this upcoming week, got quite the interesting build in honor of the Loki finale airing this week. This week's build is 600 points. Everyone must be a version of the same character. So, basically, if you've been watching Loki, you'll catch this. If not, well, you should. Variants. So, because the build is inspired by, Loki, first off, we have a Loki team. Starting off with the title character Loki from Mighty Thor, Loki, Agent of Asgard. Agent of Asgard Loki comes in at 60 points. Has the Asgardian, Young Avengers, and mystical keywords. He's a title character, so he has title character abilities, which we'll get into in a second. Looking at his dial, we open up with some stealth for a little bit, then we get some sidestep in mid to late dial. On attack, we open up with Precision Strike for a few clicks, followed by Blade's Claw's Fangs for the remainder. On defense, we open with Combat Reflexes, which then gives way to Willpower, which that'll be nice later on the dial, obviously. On damage, we open up with some Exploit Weakness, which then gives way to some mid-dial Perplex. Okay, alright. So, let's take a look at those title character abilities, shall we? Okay. First off, he starts off with 2 plot points. Alright, okay, alright. But as with every other title character, if he activated a plot ability but didn't make an attack, he's dealt 1 unavoidable damage. When he's KO'd, friendly characters can't use defense powers until your next turn. Oof, okay. So, if you add 1 plot point, you got manipulated by King Loki. Free. Until your next turn, opposing characters can't use Perplex or Probability Control to target Loki, Agent of Asgard, or friendly characters within 3 squares of him. Alright. Remove 0. Honest, I'm undercover for the All-Mother. Free. At the beginning of your next turn, if no opposing character hit Loki, Agent of Asgard, since you activated this, heal Loki, Agent of Asgard, 2 clicks. Okay, alright. That can definitely come in handy with that first one. And finally, if you remove 6, you got Graham, Sword of Truth. Free. Adjacent opposing characters with 200 points or less can't use defense powers this turn. Ooh. That's nice. That is very nice. Moving on, we've got the Chase Loki from the Mighty Thor. Yes, this is from the beginnings of J. Michael Straczynski's Thor run, as well as the early days of Dark Reign, when Loki took over the body of Sif, or rather, the body that was meant for Sif to be resurrected in, as Asgard was reborn. So this Loki comes in at 80 points, has the Mystics team ability, as well as the Asgardian, Dark Avengers, Deity, Mystical, and Warrior keywords, and we have a trait, Wielder of Loki's Staff. Loki starts the game with Loki's Staff equipped. Loki's Staff, which we'll take a look at right quick, grants Mind Control and Shape Change. Okay, so looking at her dial, first off, we technically have 2 dials on here. We'll get to that, and we will get to that. So, but we'll look at each one individually. So, the first one, we've got a couple clicks of stealth, and the rest is sidestep on speed. On attack, we have a full run of the special power Assume Wanda's Form. Power. Turn Loki to click number 9. If you do, when she will be KO'd, turn her to click number 6 instead, and she can't be healed this game. Okay. On defense, we open up with Sif's Form, Stolen, which grants combat reflexes and toughness. That then gives way to Invulnerability, which then gives way to Impervious. On damage, we open up with nothing, but we get some mid to late dial probability control. And finally, on the last click, we've got the special power, I Don't Lie, Just Share Uncomfortable Truths, which grants Perplex and probability control. So her one plot point during Dark Reign is that in Mighty Avengers, Loki was masquerading as Scarlet Witch. So that is where this portion of the dial comes into play. We get a couple clicks of Penetrating Psychic Blast, a couple clicks of Barrier, and then first and third click of the dial are the I Don't Lie, Just Share Uncomfortable Truth special power once again. So Perplex and Prob. Okay. Next up we have the starter Loki from Mighty Thor. Very much which is in all honesty very much the classic Loki look. So this Loki comes in at 100 points, has the Mystic Team ability as well as he has Guardian Mystical keywords. With a trait, Loki's Treachery goes on. At the beginning of the game, give Loki an illusion token. When he would be KO'd, remove the illusion token and turn him to click number 1 instead. If he has an illusion token, he can use Colossal Stamina and cannot be healed. Okay, that's one that's probably going to have to have some rulings. As Colossal Stamina is no longer a thing that entirely exists. It's now just giant size. Most likely that might be ruled in a manner where as long as he has an illusion token, he can use the giant size ability. So, well, it doesn't say anything about him being. But then again, I mean, that's how they ruled. That's how WizKids ruled Juggernaut, who is standard, quote unquote. But he has the giant size ability. Okay, well, so to see when it comes up. So, looking at his dial, we open up with some phasing on speed, which then gives way to Leap Climb. Then back to phasing, and we finish up with the final click of Leap Climb. On attack, we open up with Penetrating Psychic Blast. We get some mid to late dial Pulse Wave. Always nice to see, though not as nice anymore with the rules change. And we finish up with more Penetrating Psychic Blast. On defense, we open up with Super Senses, which then gives way to some mid dial Mastermind. Then the last two clicks, one is next to last is Super Senses, last one is Mastermind. Then all but the last click on damage, we've got Shape Change. Okay, alright, not too shabby. Next up, we've got Loki from Avengers, Black Panther, and the Illuminati. Now, this Loki comes in at, has multiple starting points. You can either start at 170 points or 120 points. We are starting him at 120 points. So he comes in at 120 points. He's got the Mystics team ability, as well as he has Guardian, Cabal, Deity, and Mystical keywords. We got two traits. First was a costed one, Bearer of the Infinity Sword, 5 points or 15 points. Loki starts the game with any one in Black Panther and the Illuminati Infinity Gem equipped. If you paid 15 points, you may instead start with any one Black Panther and the Illuminati Infinity Gauntlet equipped. The chase figures of Captain America and Iron Man in the set both came with the full gauntlet. And there are a few figures that have that. I think the Hood is also one of them. But the other trait, I'll have them chasing figments and shadows. Shape change, stealth. When Loki uses shape change with the Mind Gem equipped and succeeds, modify the attacking character's combat values by -1 until the end of your next turn. Okay. that can be very handy, because if someone tries to take a shot at him and he succeeds on shape change, well then your controller better hope that no one else is going to be taking pot shots at him, because yeah, -1 defense, whew, that's going to be, yeah. Anyway, looking at Loki's dial, we open up with a click of Penetrating Psychic Blast, which then gives way to a couple clicks of the special power Infinity Sword, which grants Blaze Claw's Fangs. When Loki uses it and hits, if the attack roll was a 10 or higher and the Blaze Claw's Fangs roll was a 5 or a 6, after resolutions, action total +1 this turn, and choose a friendly character. Remove all action tokens from the chosen character, and that character may be given an additional costed action this turn. Okay, alright. And then we're back to Penetrating Psychic Blast for the last 3 clicks. On defense, we open up with Energy Deflection, which then gives way to a few clicks of Mastermind. On damage, we open up with a click of Probability Control. We then a couple clicks of Outwit, followed by 3 clicks of Perplex. Okay, alright. Oh, I completely forgot to neglect the speed. We get a click of Phasing, followed by a click of Charge, and the rest is Sidestep. Alright, not too shabby. And we are paying the extra 5 points for the trait, and we'll be giving him the Mind Gem. Mind Gem grants modify attack by +1, Mind Control, Incapacitate. When this character hits, if the attack roll was 10 or higher, after resolutions they can use Mind Control at no cost. And you can repeat if you roll a 10 or higher on the Mind Control attack roll. At least you should still be able to. As far as I know, you still can. I know that a lot of characters who had nigh infinite combos keying off attacks, a lot of them did get nerfed recently. I think the Prime Vulture, for example, from Earth X, was a huge part of that. Oftentimes people would give him the Octopus Arms, max perplex his charge and attack, and even his damage, and he'd basically fly out, charge someone, hit with a flurry, nope, KO, okay, move on to the next one. KO, and just keep on, and just keep charging, flurrying, and so until everyone was practically dead. The Chase Hawkeye from Avengers Defenders War also had a similar thing, but it was just like you couldn't. I think both of them, it was kind of you could only attack opposing characters you hadn't already attacked. So, but still, you could do things in just the right way so that you could pretty much wipe out an entire opposing team in one attack. Anyway, moving on to the final figures for the Loki team. We've got Loki, the rare from Avengers Assemble. This bad boy comes in at 225 points. Has the Mystic Team ability as well as the Asgardian, Deity, and Mystical keywords. That improved targeting, ignores hindering terrain and characters. Finally, we have a trait, Master of Illusions and Trickery. Loki can use Shape Change and succeeds on a result of 4 through 6. When an opposing character targets Loki with Outwit or Perplex, he can use Shape Changes if he were targeted with an attack. When Loki makes a successful Shape Change roll, he can't be targeted for the remainder of the turn. This is not the only figure from the set that has a similar shape change. The common Black Widow hers works almost the same way, without the 4 through 6. Or being able to be utilized on Outwit or Perplex as well, either. Now, he is an older figure, so he's got the old cards, but speed-wise, we open with Sidestep. That gives way to a special power, to trick my brother and his friends. Loki can use Mind Control. When he does, he isn't dealt damage from it, and if he targets only a single character, modify his attack value by +2, and he may target a character that can use Battle Fury. Okay. Now, the damage part doesn't matter anymore. The feedback damage from Mind Control is long gone. Good. Which is a good thing. But yeah. Next up, we've got Phasing Teleport as well. On attack, we open up Penetrating Psychic Blast, which then gives way to Poison, which then gives way to Smoke Cloud. On defense, we open with Mastermind, which gives away Super Sense, which then gives away Regeneration. On damage, we open up with Outwit, which then gives way to Perplex. Okay. Now, we do have something else added to the team as well, because, well, I love it. The Power Gem. Now, the idea is to give the Power Gem to the Avengers Assemble Loki. For those who might not have caught any of the, I don't know, 50, 100, 50 gajillion videos I've done utilizing the Power Gem. The Power Gem modifies damage by +1 and grants close combat and range combat expert. When the equipped character hits, if the attack roll is a 10 or higher, after resolutions, deal a hit target 1 penetrating damage. So by putting this on Loki, who has a very nasty opening click, he's got close and range combat expert and damage +1. So as close and range combat expert are now both always on, he's basically got an 11 attack with 6 damage on penetrating psychic blast. And with that Outwit, he could, he could take out someone opposing figure with inertial deflection. Like, boom, your inertial deflection is gone. Or super senses, or invincible. Oh, you got invincible. No, you don't. So yeah, ideally speaking, he could be quite the powerhouse, especially with the Power Gem. I mean, he's good already. The Power Gem just kind of makes him better, but also does make him a massive target. Anyways, moving on to our next team, we go from Marvel to DC with an Arkham Asylum Harley Quinn team. So, kicking things off, we've got Harley from the common Harley from Joker's Wild. Rather, simple version of Harley. She comes in at 25 points, has the Batman enemy team ability, which allows her to share her unmodified attack value with adjacent friendly characters with the Batman enemy team ability. Looking at her dial, she also has the Arkham Asylum and Gotham City Underworld keywords. Looking at her dial, we've got 3 clicks of Stealth, 2 clicks of Combat Reflexes, and 3 clicks of Perplex. Next up, we've got the booster Harley from the Batman set. This is one of the older sets which doesn't have the dial on the card, so we won't be able to look at her dial. But she comes in at 50 points, has the Underworld team ability, so she has Passenger 1, but only to carry a character that shares a keyword, or Passenger 2 share the keyword, but only if they share a keyword and are lower cost. As there's only one figure on the team of lower cost, it's not really, that latter one's not going to matter much. Anyway, so she comes in at 50 points. He has the Arkham Asylum and Gotham City Sirens keyword. She's got improved movement, ignores characters. She's got a hindering trend as well, but that's not a thing. We got some charge, we got some flurry. Let's see. We click into Quake. Then Blaze Claw's Fangs. You open up with Super Senses on defense, followed by Combat Reflexes. On damage, we open up with Range Combat Expert, which then gives way to Close Combat Expert. Okay, alright. Sadly, though, the fact that she opens up with Charge and Range Combat Expert, yeah, that's not doing her any favors. Next up, we've got the rare non-prime Harley from Harley and the Gotham Girls. It's very much a new 52 Amanda Connor. I want to say it's Amanda Connor, but Amanda Connor, Jimmy Palmiotti, Harley. She comes in at 50 points, has the Calculator Wildcard team ability, as well as the Arkham Asylum, Secret Six, and Suicide Squad keywords. We also got 2 traits. First off is only 6 of us. Stealth, but only if your force has 3 or more characters. Improved movement, ignores hindering terrain. That doesn't matter, but only if your force has 5 or more characters. Modify all combat values plus 1, but only if your force has exactly 6 characters. When a couple characters get killed off, if she's not one of those ones that gets killed off first, we'll qualify for the last one, and we definitely qualify for the first one. So yeah. Next up, what part of Suicide Squad don't you understand? When Harley Quinn is KO'd, reduce your action total by 1, minimum 1, until the end of your next turn. Okay. So yeah, we kind of want to make sure she stays alive. Looking at her dial, we open up with a few clicks of sidestep. Nothing on attack. On defense, we got a full run of super senses. On damage, we for the first 4 clicks, we go back and forth between perplex and probability control before finishing off with close combat expert at the very end. Okay, alright, I mean, not great, but not bad. Next up, we've got Harley from the Wonder Woman 80th Anniversary set. Harley comes in at 50 points and has the Wonder Woman and Underworld team abilities. The Wonder Woman ally team ability grants super senses, but only on a succeeds only on a 6. If the character can already use super senses, instead increase the result of the super senses roll by +1. Okay. So yeah, that rare Harley that we just looked at, she actually might be copying that Wonder Woman ally team ability quite a bit. Because having a full run of super senses after all. Anyway, she comes in at 50 points. Underworld, Wonder Woman ally team ability. Also the Amazon, Arkham Asylum, Gotham City Sirens, Gotham City Underworld, and Scientist keywords. We have a trait. Whoopsie, this getup is a little big on me. When Harley Quinn misses all targets of an attack, after resolutions give each target an action token. Okay. Looking at her dial, we open up with a few clicks of charge, followed by a few clicks of sidestep. On attack, we've got a full run of Quake. On defense, we open up with a few clicks of toughness, followed by a few clicks of super senses. On damage, we open up with some probability control, which then gives way to a few clicks of close combat expert. Alright, okay. And next up, we've got ourselves another title character, Harley Quinn. Title Harley comes in at 60 points, has the Batman enemy team ability, as well as the Arkham Asylum, Gotham City Sirens, Gotham City Underworld, and Suicide Squad keywords, I should say. Looking at her dial, we open up with a few clicks of running shot, followed by some sidestep, followed by some late to end dial stealth. Sadly, nothing on attack. On defense, we open up with inertial deflection, followed by super senses. On damage, we open up with shape change, which gives way to exploit weakness, which then gives way to enhancement. Now, let's take a look at her title character abilities. Her KO ability, her KO one, no more pumpkin pie. When Harley Quinn is KO'd for the rest of the game, all opposing characters have power, heal 2 clicks. Oof. Kind of want to make sure she doesn't get KO'd then. She starts off with 3 plot points, so that's good. Add 1, we got Made of Mischief. Free, perplex until your next turn. When she uses it, she may instead modify a combat value other than damage by plus or minus 2. Okay, alright. Remove 2. Candygram? Free. Energy Explosion this turn. When Harley Quinn uses it, modify attack plus 3 and after resolutions, give each hit character an action token. Okay. Remove 6 plot points. Get 'em, Gang of Harleys. Free. Roll a d6. Generate a number of Harley bystander tokens equal to the result, minimum 2, into squares within 3 squares. Here's the Harley bystander token. We got a trait. The gang's all here. Harley's actions don't count against your action total. And the Harleys have flurry and combat reflexes. Okay, all right. Next up, we've got the common booster. I think possibly just I can't remember if there's an uncommon or rare in Batman the Animated Series, but common booster Harley from Batman the Animated Series. As you can tell, it's a classic look. Comes in at 65 points, has the Batman enemy team ability, as well as the Arkham Asylum, Gotham City Sirens, Gotham City Underworld, and Scientist keywords. We also have a trait, a whole bunch of crazy in a pretty little package. At the beginning of your turn, you may roll a d6. If you do, turn Harley Quinn's dial to that click number. She does not return to her initial click. So you have this isn't like things like Crazy Jane where you note the click, roll, and at the end of the turn go back to that click. No. This is if you get KO'd, if you roll end up on click 6 and then get KO'd before the beginning of your next turn, well, yeah, that's that. Anyways, looking at her dial. On speed, we open up with stealth, which gives way to charge, which gives way to force blast, which then gives way to plasticity, which gives way to running shot, which then gives way to back to stealth. On attack, we open up with poison, which gives way to smoke cloud, which then gives way to quake, which gives way to incapacitate, which gives way to precision strike, and then back to poison. Defense, we open up with super senses, which gives way to combat reflexes, back to super senses, back to combat reflexes, initial deflection, and then a final click of super senses. On damage, we open up with outwit, which then gives way to close combat expert, which gives way to empower, which then gives way to shape change, which gives way to perplex, and we end up with a click of ranged combat expert at the end. Okay, all right. Like I said, that trait can be useful, but it can also be a liability, so always be mindful. Next up, we've got the rare Prime Harley from Harley and the Gotham Girls. This is Sinestro Core Harley. She comes in at 100 points. She has no team ability, but she has the Arkham Asylum and Sinestro Core keywords. Also the trait Fear of Madness. Perplex will only modify a combat value by -1. When Harley Quinn uses it, choose close or range. Unless it's the only character on an opponent's force, the target can't make that kind of attack until your next turn. Okay. Looking at her dial, we open up with a couple clicks of hypersonic speed, then we get some mid to late dial running shot. On attack, we open up the special power. You afraid of spiked boxing gloves? Grants knockback. Knockback damage dealt to Harley Quinn's. Dealt due to Harley Quinn's attack is increased by 1. Then on the last 3 clicks, we've got Pulse Wave. On defense, we open with toughness, which then gives away to initial deflection. On damage, we got a couple clicks of enhancement at first, followed by a couple clicks of exploit weakness. Okay. All right. Finally, we've got the super rare from Harley and the Gotham Girls, Red and Black Lantern Harley Quinn. This is actually the first time I ever used her in a video, or used her on a team up for building the team. Anyway, Red and Black Lantern Harley comes in at 200 points, has the Arkham Asylum, Black Lantern Core, and Red Lantern Core keywords. We got a trait, Death, Steal Energy with close or range attacks. When an opposing character is KO'd after resolutions, heal her 1 click. Ooh. That's just when an opposing character is KO'd. Not KO'd by her, just KO'd, period. Alright, so, looking at her dial. On speed, we open up with a couple clicks of hypersonic speed, which then gives way to a special power, Giant Arm Wrestling Match. Free. If Harley Quinn has no action tokens, choose an adjacent opposing character of 100 points, 150 points or less. Both players roll a d6 and add their character's printed damage value to the result. If your final result is greater, you may place that opposing character anywhere on the map and deal it 1 penetrating damage. Otherwise, that opponent may place Harley into an adjacent square and deal her 1 penetrating damage. Okay. Then we get some late dial sidestep. On attack, we open up with a couple clicks of poison, which gives way to a couple clicks of penetrating psychic blast. Then we get some mid to late dial special power, special attack power, rage, poison. When Harley Quinn uses it, she deals penetrating damage. Okay. On defense, we open up with a couple clicks of impervious, which then gives way to a couple of clicks, or a few clicks of invulnerability, and then a couple of clicks of regeneration to wrap things up. On damage, we open up with a couple clicks of perplex. Then we get almost the entirety, the rest of the dial. We've got the special damage power. I'm gonna eradicate you. When Harley Quinn hits an opposing character, for the rest of the game, if that character can use invincible or impervious, that character can't use those powers but can use invulnerability instead. Okay. Oof, that's that can be a killer. That can really hurt. Anyway, our final team is a Spider-Man team. Starting off, we've got the Earth X starter Spider-Man, Spider-Dad, as it were. Spider-Dad here comes in at 50 points. It has the PD team ability, as well as the Earth X Spider-Man family police and reporter keywords. We've also got improved movement, ignores elevated terrain, and hindering, but yeah. Looking at his dial, we get a couple clicks of super strength, followed by a few clicks of, or a couple clicks of plasticity, followed by a couple clicks of flurry. On attack, we open up with a couple clicks of super strength, followed by a couple clicks of quake. Defense, we open up with super senses, which then gives way to combat reflexes. On damage, we have a couple clicks of perplex to start with, followed by a few clicks of empower. Not too shabby. Next up, we've got the common Spider-Man from Superior Foes of Spider-Man. This guy comes in at 70 points, has the Spider-Man Ally ability, which is a wild card ability. We've also got the Avengers, Spider-Man family, and scientist keywords, as well as improved movement, ignores elevated terrain. We also have a column for help from the Spider-Verse trait. Once per turn for all characters with this trait, when Spider-Man hits an opposing character after action resolve, you may roll a d6 that can't be re-rolled. On a 3 through a 6, place another friendly character with a Spider-Man family keyword adjacent to this character. That can be very useful, for obvious reasons. Looking at his dial, we open up with a couple clicks of charge, then we get a couple clicks of flurry, and wrapping up with a couple clicks of sidestep on speed. On attack, all we've got is a couple clicks of super strength, sadly. On defense, we open up with special power. My spider's sense is going off like crazy. Spider-Man can use super senses. When he does, increase the result of his roll by 1 for every 100 points of the attacking character's cost. Okay. That thing is going to a couple clicks of regular super senses, back to the special power, and we wrap up with a final click of super senses. On damage, we open up with a couple clicks of close combat expert, and we end with a couple clicks of exploit weakness. Okay. Alright. Next up, we've got the Booster Spider-Man from Fantastic Four. This guy comes in at 75 points, has the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man Ally team abilities, as well as the Fantastic Four Spider-Man family reporter and scientist keywords. Improved movement, ignores elevated terrain and characters, and hindered terrain. 2 traits. First off, a new kind of fantastic teamwork. When Spider-Man hits with a close attack until your next turn after other friendly characters with the Fantastic Four keyword can use the same improved movement abilities he's got. So characters and elevation. Next up is the new Fantastic Four. Passenger 1, but only to carry characters with the Fantastic Four keyword. Once per turn, when Spider-Man is carried and placed adjacent to 2 or more opposing characters, after resolutions, he may make a close attack. Okay. And if I remember correctly, the new carry rules are a bit vague about who can carry. It's not just a case of flyers who carry flyers, but it's more, anyone can carry anyone of, same or smaller size, at least. So, you could carry him and then just set him down, and he attacks, and boom, done. But yeah, anyway, looking at his dial, we open up with a couple clicks of running shot. We get a click of sidestep, then a couple clicks of plasticity, and back to sidestep. On attack, we open up with we've got a few clicks of incapacitate, and that's it. On defense, we open up with a few clicks of super senses, followed by a couple clicks of combat reflexes, and back to super senses. On damage, we have some mid to late dial close combat expert. And that's it. Next up, we've got the Absolute Carnage Fast Forces Spider-Man. This is actually one of my favorite Spider-Mans, or at least recent ones. This guy comes in at 75 points. He's got the Spider-Man Allied Team ability as well as the Spider-Man Family, Reporter, and Scientist keywords. Improved movement ignores elevated terrain, and the trait, Marvel Team Up. When establishing theme teams, choose a named keyword a character on your starting force has. Spider-Man gains that keyword. So you could say Fantastic Four, and then he would be able to key off of the Fantastic Four Spider-Man's new kind of fantastic teamwork trait. And I mean, that's really the only one that has a real effect, so yeah. But looking at his dial, we get a couple clicks of charge, followed by a couple clicks of running shot, followed by a couple clicks of flurry. On attack, we open up with a 12 attack and quake. We get some mid-dial incapacitate as well. On defense, we open up with a couple clicks of combat reflexes, then a couple clicks of super senses, back to combat reflexes, and then finishing up with super senses. On damage, we open up the special power Quips and Thwips, which grants leadership. However, he succeeds on a 4 through 6. That's very not bad. That's, in fact, really damn good. Finally, we got a couple of clicks of Perplex at the very end. Next up, we've got Spider-Man from the common Spider-Man from Secret Wars Battle World. This Spider-Man comes in at 85 points. He's got the Spider-Man Allied Team ability, so he's a wild card. We've got improved movement, ignores elevated hindering. Trait-wise or keyword-wise, we got Battlefield or Battle World Regency, Spider-Man Family, Reporter, and Scientist. Looking at his dial, we open up a few clicks of special speed power, Retired to Protect My Family, which grants sidestep and stealth. That thing is a few clicks of flurry. On attack, we open up with Incapacitate, which gives way to super strength. On defense, we open up with a special power, We need to watch out for each other. Super senses. Defend, but may only replace the defense values of characters with the Spider-Man family keyword. Okay. That then gives way to combat reflexes. On damage, we open up with shape change, which gives way to perplex. Not too shabby. Next, we've got the rare Earth X Spider-Man. This Spider-Man comes in at 90 points as the Spider-Man Allied Team ability, as well as the Avengers, Spider-Man Family, Reporter, and Scientist keywords. Also got improved movement, ignores elevated, hindering, and characters. Two traits. First off, signature equipment, web shooters. These are, I might add, the web shooters. And Spider-Man can start the game with them equipped. Their effect is they grant incapacity with a maximum range value of 4. When this character uses incapacitated hits, instead of giving an action token, you may have hit targets gain immobile until your next turn. And he's got 2 targets, so yeah, he can pretty much immobilize up to 2 opposing characters. And now, with the fact that you can do, if a character has multiple targets and is base, they can still attack that many opposing characters, adjacent opposing characters. So you can do that with 2 adjacent characters as well. The other trait we've got is Protect My Family. Free. If no other character has activated this trait this turn, Choose an opposing character that attack a friendly character with the Spider-Man family keyword since your last turn. Place Spider-Man such that he can make a close attack targeting the chosen character, then do so. So he's basically got a retaliation trait. Looking at his dial, we open up a couple clicks of the special speed power, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Running Shot. When Spider-Man makes an attack or is attacked, after resolutions, you may remove him 1 square. Okay. A couple clicks of Charge, then a couple clicks of Hypersonic Speed. On attack, we open up with nothing, that gives way to Quake, followed by a couple clicks of Precision Strike. Defense, we open up with Super Senses, which gives way to Combat Reflexes, which gives way to Energy Deflection. On damage, we open up with Probability Control, and we finish up with a couple clicks of Perplex. Okay. Not too shabby. And our last figure to look at is the rare Spider-Man from Avengers, Black Panther, and the Illuminati. Iron Spider. Iron Spider here comes in at 145 points. Has the Spider-Man Allied Team ability as well as the Avengers, Pro Registration, Spider-Man Family, Stark Industries, Armor, Reporter, and Scientist keywords. We got 2 traits. First off is 3 Waldos. At the beginning of your turn, you may choose 1. Flurry and Giant Reach 2, or Combat Reflexes and Stealth, or Improved Targeting may make range attacks out of adjacency, including to target adjacent opposing characters, and 3 targets. Spider-Man can use the chosen effects until you choose again. Okay. Honestly, probably be just going with Combat Reflexes and Stealth. Next one is Iron Spider Senses. Super Senses, Protected Outwit. Okay, alright. Looking at his dial, we open up with a few clicks of special speed power. What's he going to do? Fly, Leap, Climb. When Spider-Man uses it after resolutions, he may be given a close at no cost. Okay. Again, we got a couple clicks of Charge, followed by a couple clicks of Earthbound Neutralized, which I don't really think does much of anything anymore. On attack, we open up a couple clicks of Precision Strike, we then get a blank click and a couple clicks of Super Strength, followed by a couple clicks of Incapacitate. On defense, we open up with Invulnerability, which gives way to a few clicks of Toughness, then a couple clicks of Inertial Deflection. On damage, we open up with Shape Change for a couple clicks and a couple clicks of Perplex, followed by a couple clicks of Outwit. Not too shabby. Now, you might be wondering, why wouldn't I pick the Flurry and Giant Reach ability? Well, that's because we're including a piece of equipment as well. The Octopus Arms. 10 points. They grant Giant Reach 2, Flurry, as well as improved movement, ignores elevated and hindering terrain. Well, really just elevated now, but yeah. Alright, and so, let me know what you think, your thoughts on the team, and if you have any map suggestions that I might use for either any of these teams, let me know. In the comments below, obviously. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.